please tell me that after watching last week's episode, you signed up for that free video. If not, you're not allowed to watch this one. Go sign up. Link in the description. Do it now.
Hey, we putting on a show, trying to catch a vibe. We do this every time, like na 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 na. Feeling like I'm on the highway, cause everything been going my way. And now they looking at me sideways. I'm like na 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 na. This is where I wanna be, na na na. Never ever gonna leave.
Sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to what if I mix it up? What if I do the offer first? But what if my offer is actually a hook? Boom. Haha. All right, let's jump in to this next part 4, I believe, of how I became an entrepreneur, which is actually a misleading title because at this point, I've already been in and then out and then out. Anyways, all right, so here we go. I'm now where I left us in this video it's me and my buddy Mike Doyle and my buddy Gideon Walker. By the way, Gideon Walker was, he's a phenomenal copywriter, and he was actually the copywriter for AppSumo. The Noah Kagan guy I talked about was actually his copywriter for a long time, and way before I ever knew him, I would read their emails. Remember I said I accidentally signed up for a copywriting course? Well, that was from a guy named Neville Medora. And he kind of set them up with hey, let me do a couple tests for you and show you how to do, how copywriting can help your business. And then turned it over to them. I thought he did it for a long time, but it turns out that he only wrote 2 or 3 of those emails. And then they hired Gideon, and Gideon was actually the one who was writing those emails. So for years, I was obsessed with this guy's emails, thinking it was this other guy. And then I meet Gideon, and actually a couple years into us being friends, I think it was actually when we went to the Life on Fire conference together, and we were hanging out in the hotel after a session, that I found out that he actually was the one that wrote all those emails that I used to follow religiously. So yeah, you want to learn how to copyright? Go sign up. He actually has a really good Seinfeld email series that he does, and it'll teach you about how to write better emails. So I'll put that in the link too. You're welcome, Gideon. I love you, buddy. Okay, so here we are. We're having these calls, and I think someone makes a comment yeah, these calls are gold. We could sell these, or all these other people. I don't know, something. We're saying whatever, and we come up with the idea of hey, let's open this up to others. We know a lot of other people who would be good at this stuff. And it was kind of like the Mixergy model. There was this podcast back in the day, it's probably still around, called Mixergy. And the guy would have guests come on and interview him. And it was always about what he was wanting to learn next. So if it was oh, I need to learn SEO for my business, how to get my stuff ranking, he would have an SEO expert on, interview them, and then he'd start putting those things into practice. So that's basically what we started doing. So we created this group called the Entrepreneurs Roundtable. And we created these weekly hangouts, and it was at the time, Google Plus was a big thing, and so we did them through Google Hangouts, and boom, we had all of them. You can actually go down in the channel, if you're on YouTube, you can go down, you can see a bunch of them. I think most of them, if not all of them, are still there. I didn't get rid of them, and they would connect over to the YouTube channel. So whenever that started, boom, those are on there. You can actually go back and watch all of those. Some of the information's outdated now, and some of it's evergreen and will be awesome, and you could just go watch and get awesome value. I should actually take those off and repackage the ones that are evergreen and sell them, but I won't. Go check them out. So we start this thing and we start bringing people in. Every week we have, so it's Gideon, Mike, and myself, and then every week we are bringing in an expert. Every now and then we do an episode where it was just some other roundtablers, and we just have a hangout and we talk about different stuff, but more often than not, it was an expert coming in, and then the 3 of us with our 3 very different businesses, and we would then ask them questions and well, how does this apply here? What about this? That's fascinating, da da da. And it was amazing. We did that for quite a long time, and it was great. And we still have this group, Entrepreneurs Roundtable. You can't get into it. I'm sorry. It is locked down. It's exclusive, because what happened is it became such an awesome group, but we started getting a bunch of spammers in, and they'd come in and they would get in and they're yeah, I'm a cool entrepreneur. We're cool. And the next thing you know, they were spamming their stuff, and we hate spammers. So we closed it down. We became the new Charlie's Chocolate Factory, right? well, the Willy Wonka factory, I mean. Gideon turned into Willy Wonka and got really mad one day and just locked it down and said, people can't get in anymore, put on a form they have to fill out to get in, and we very rarely ever approve anyone to get in. So you have to just, if you want in, every now and then we do an invite, or we actually even sell, some people actually pay to get in, to get membership, but every now and then we drop access. So if you're not on that email list yet, go ahead and do that. You'll get that free video, plus, boom, you might get an invite to the Entrepreneurs Roundtable from time to time. Probably a couple times a year that'll go out. Anyways, back to the story. So we created this awesome group and we all just loved it so much, and we did these videos, and that is how the Entrepreneurs Roundtable got started. And that actually took me through multiple years. And so I'm there in California, I'm working, but then I started having these dreams. It's gonna sound weird. I don't mean to weird you guys out. But then I started having these dreams about like being in youth ministry again. And long story short, over a period of time, I just felt like I needed to get back into the nonprofit world, and that I wasn't done helping the younger generation. A lot of my entrepreneurial stuff was kind of tugging on my heartstrings anyways, because I'm like, so much of the stuff I'm learning, not just like the business making money stuff, but like a lot of like how to be a man, how to be responsible, how to have grit, how to keep your word, how to have good work ethic. All these things I was learning and like really honing in on stuff that like I was getting, remember I said like, oh, go into the military and you learn all this great experience. This was like my experience. This is my 4-year university. This is my going off on a tour in the military. I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to, you get the point here. And I was learning so much, and I felt like there's so much of this stuff like these young kids need to learn. So I got back into it, and we actually moved. This takes me from California to Richmond, Virginia, and that's actually where we had been for 4 years. And my entrepreneurial stuff like kind of ebbed and flowed while we were there. So I got there, I was still doing the roundtable, I was still doing Business Heroes, we still did the weekly hangouts for a while, probably for the first year or so. I was still doing all that, but then I just got really busy with that side of it. And I was actually, not only was I a youth pastor, but I also was teaching at a small private school, which was awesome in the fact that like I actually had a captive audience because they couldn't go anywhere. They legally had to be there. And I got to teach them this stuff, and they hated it, but they all flourished, right? At first they're like, oh my gosh, our last teacher would just like watch Netflix movies and would just approve our stuff. And I'm like, no, you're gonna learn this stuff. And I was literally taking everything I had learned in this entrepreneur journey for 4 years. I was teaching these students, and it was cool because I would see students come in who were like at-risk students. Like probably half of these students that I had were students who came in because they had failed some sort of test in the regular school, or they were so far behind in the regular school that they were going to repeat a grade. So they'd come in super far behind, and I would have them, because of the stuff I was just drilling in. The first year was always like the hardest year, but then like the second year they were caught up, and by the third year they were always ahead. And that gave them the option that they either would then start taking on extra courses and go from like, I'm barely going to pass high school, if at all, to like now I have all these extra advanced courses for when I go to college, like I can get into a much better college, or they graduate early. Those who just knew they were going to just get out and go into the work field, they would graduate early. And I took a lot of pride in this, that like I went from like, hey, I'm teaching with Business Heroes, I'm teaching like anyone who will listen, I'm doing all this stuff, we're doing all this training, down to like, hey, let me like really test this stuff out in like a literal classroom with like a dozen students. And like I said, I did that for 4 years, and every single year I had it happen. I had students come in who were struggling, who were at risk to like drop out of high school or do basically a 5th year. And by the time they're done, we had these great results. Every single one of them that stuck with it. We had a couple who came in and like a month or two into it were like, no, peace out, I can't do this. And then they would leave. I think I had 2 students who just couldn't handle like that personal responsibility. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough, and it caused friction. Sometimes there are parents complaining like, this isn't like a normal school. And I'm like, look at the results. Like how did you came from a normal school, and your student was like, you came here for a reason. You came here because your student wasn't doing well. Why would you then pay us to get the same results? Okay, yeah, we understand. And so there's a lot of kind of friction. I had to really constantly in the principal's office explaining my methods, explaining why, having parent-teacher conferences because they're like, I don't think it's fair that my little Susie got a D-. She was getting A's at her last school. And it's like she was doing packets. Like she wasn't, your little Susie can barely read. She was doing packets. Of course she had an A, or whatever it may be. And it was cool, and I learned a lot. I learned a ton about teaching and how to teach and make things stick. And these kids had these great results. And it went from like this little private school to where I think they had one student who had gone off to like college. And because of, I think one. I could be wrong. It could be more. But I think they had one student who went to a university, and then now that number's way up. They have so many students who have gone and been able to bring up grades, have their work ethic, boom, go in. And I'm not obviously taking 100% responsibility for that, because that wasn't really where I really even shined with those students. It was the students who were like at risk to like get a GED, who are now graduating with like a B- grade average, and now have like the work ethic that's going to go on. And a lot of them wanted to do their own kind of entrepreneurial thing. They wanted to be like, I can think of one girl who wanted to be a hairdresser. And she's like, why do I have to learn this stuff? I'm going to run I was like, you want to run your own shop, right? Yeah. Well, you're going to have to deal with this. She's like, why do I have to learn? Like, I was always like, different. I'm not talking about school stuff and math stuff. I was like, because you're going to have employees, and you have to deal with this, and then this is going to happen. You're going to need the grit for this, and then you're going to need, they're like, why do I have to learn all this other stuff? Why can't I just do the regular schoolwork? And it's like, because you need it in life. And so, boom, then I was done with that, and I felt like, okay, I've done that. I'd taken a class all the way through, a high school class, so I had them as freshmen, all the way through to where they were going to be graduating. I was like, it's time for me to move on. And I did. And so now that's what brings me here to upstate New York. And I'm in much more of I'm still over the youth ministry, but in a much higher role where, I don't want to say higher, it sounds like I'm bragging. That's not what I meant. But where much more in a strategic role, there we go. And I'm getting to use these skills to really work with the church and really help with the fundraising. Like I told you guys, or maybe I didn't tell you, I think it was in that interview I did, help with the fundraising for our local outreach and help like use marketing stuff to greatly increase the amount that we're bringing in for fundraising, to be able to then take that and back out to the community and help the community of people struggling because of COVID and all this kind of stuff, and using those skills to really systematize and all this stuff, because this church is doing amazing work in town, and just be able to do my part, bring in that entrepreneurial kind of spirit and that's tactics and stuff to help has been awesome. But after about a year of it, again, we were doing great. We with COVID hitting, a lot of churches were struggling and even like shut down. And we went into full on attack mode, and we went like, when we were shut down, we were live streaming. We had 12 hours of content a week we were putting out, and it was awesome. It was exhausting, but it was awesome, and we've grown and we've flourished. And then that fundraising campaign I was talking to you about, that bug kind of hit me again as I'm like I'm sending out the promotional emails, and I'm helping them segment their list and doing Facebook ads and creating landing pages, and we're bringing in donations and all this kind of stuff. That bug kind of hit me like, I'm doing a lot of good here, but there's like a lot of other people I could be helping. And the idea of Business Heroes came back to me, and why I started it was like, that the local business owners are the backbone of our country and our economy, and like so many of them are struggling. And so after like 8 months of like, oh, I'm so blessed, I feel like we're so blessed because we have this winning team and we're not struggling like we could be, and things are going well. I'm glad that we're on the winning side. And it's like, okay, that's kind of selfish. And I was like, I feel like I have this responsibility, and that's what really pulled me back in. Because if you're like, well, if you're doing the whole nonprofit thing and that's going so well, why are you doing Business Heroes again? That's the reason why. Like, I feel like there's more. Like, I had more I could be doing, a bigger responsibility, not just to help our local organization, but like everyone, all the business owners in the Mohawk Valley, as well as anyone, because the internet reach so many more. And so that's the idea behind Business Heroes, is for me to go out, and that's like my biggest skill. Like any of those like quizzes and stuff you do, right? Like, I'm the guy who I'm able to like process large, complex ideas and then like synthesize them in easier to understand. That's what I've been told my entire life. Oh, your analogies and your stories and your whatever, it makes it so much easier to understand. And I'm like, okay, so this is my calling. This is what I need to do. And I'm able to go out and research this stuff and learn and talk to my buddies and watch the videos and do the courses and take these things and and then be able to come back and just teach you guys like, look, you don't care about all this. You don't care about, some of you may, but a lot of you are like, look, I need more clients, or I need to take my personal training. I need to put it online. So that way, if there's a shutdown, I have a membership and I'm not relying on meeting in gyms. I need to learn how to sell things and do, so like if my store shut down, people can buy stuff online and then I can just ship it to them. I need to learn how to, make more, like my regular job isn't as secure as I thought it was, and my supplements that I sell on the side, my health and beauty supplement company, I need to make more of there. Whatever it is, to help you take that and make it, grow it to the next level, right? So you don't care about all these like things, the things that like excite me and fire me up. Like I literally have stacks and stacks of books of marketing and stuff. Like I'm literally, when I'm taking breaks from recording these, I'm going upstairs and I'm sitting in my chair, I'm reading this huge stack of this, like about copywriting and all these different tactics and stuff. You probably don't do that in your free time to unwind and relax like I do, right? So I'm like, let me take that skill and then be able to put that out. And that's where the Business Growth Secrets really came from. I'm like, look, let me create a membership that I can every single week put out a tangible thing. What do I do this week? I need to grow my business. Boom, you get the guide, you get the video, you get the walkthroughs, and you go and you do it. Like, right? You get that guide on Monday and you read through it. And you start implementing that week. And by the end of the week, you start getting results. And then we have walkthrough videos. If you're like, I don't know how to send out an email campaign like that, where we actually walk you through what to click, where to sign up. You could do MailChimp, you could do ActiveCampaign, you could do, here's the different options, here's the different price points. Let me walk you through getting 2 or 3 of the most popular ones set up and how you would do it. That's like the whole idea behind the Business Growth Secrets. Every single week, it's like I'm coming alongside you, holding your hand and saying, do this. Now, some people who have more time, this is their full-time thing, will actually go through and do that every single week and implement that tactic. Some of you, the idea is I priced it at a point where so I'm putting out once a week, but if once a month you pick up one of these ideas and you do it, it's gonna get you those results. So I just wanna say, if that's you, if you fall in that category of like, I'm not super obsessed of geeking out over all the marketing stuff, but I do need to grow my business or my side thing or whatever it is, that's who I created this for. So if that's you, go sign up for that free video. It'll give you a taste of the video companion that goes with the guide and see if you like it. And if so, it's literally $10 a month. So it's something that you can try out. Spend a month for $10. 4 times you're gonna get a guide with the tactic and examples of how to do it, the video companion diving into how to apply it to your business and give some stories and examples, a video walkthrough if it need be on how to do the tech side. Every now and then it's self-explanatory, but more often than not, there's gonna be that video walkthrough. There's an audio version of that video companion, so you can just listen to it. I don't know why I did that, like because you're on your phone, but that's not a phone. So you can listen to it, and then once a month, starting in January, we've implemented like a hangout where we can get together and just talk shop. And if you have questions, you're like, yeah, but I don't understand, and this week you talked about this and I'm hung up on this thing, or should I do this or should I do this, where we can talk and go through these things. So try it out. Like I said, take it a test drive with a free video, and if you like it, then it's $10 a month. 1 month, $10 isn't gonna break you, am I right? I mean, come on. $10 is not gonna make or break your business, but what it will do is set that benchmark for future success of us working together. So try it out, and if you like it, keep going with it. If not, cut it off, no problem. It's through Patreon, so you don't have to worry about a complicated cancellation process. You literally just go in and click cancel. Are you sure? Yes, boom, you're done, and you're good to go, no hard feelings. All right, that's all I have to say for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of like my story of what led me to here, right? Of how I started off back in the day and drawing comics in my bedroom to teaching you guys and helping you guys out here in Business Heroes. I already made the offer, so I guess I'll just see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed day.